So friends, this is the White Hart pub, formerly. I'm sorry about the noise. This is the first place on the Witchfinder's trail, and it's no longer called the White Hart pub. And if you ask people, they have no idea what you're talking about. So it's this cream and navy blue building, and it's opposite the post office. And the roof looks rather intriguingly a bit crooked. Apparently Hopkins, the Witchfinder General, he did stay in this inn when it was the White Hart Inn. He did stay here. This is in local lore. It's not proven, and they've suggested perhaps the innkeeper just wanted to get some ghoulish trade by saying that Matthew Hopkins stayed here. But apparently that is what is believed to be true, and this building must presumably have been there at that time that Matthew Hopkins was alive and doing his witch finding. So it's no longer a pub, but this is it if you're looking for it. It's a really pretty little town, Manningtree. I mean, there are these lovely Georgian properties everywhere, and it's hard to believe that such horrible things happened here. Okay friends, this is the second stopping point, I think, on the witch trail, the witch finding trail. I'll turn around, but I'm in South Street in Manningtree. Yes. And over there is a plaque commemorating the 4 women in Manningtree who were executed here. The Manningtree Witch Hunt 1645. So I believe that 4 women were executed here in Manningtree. They were hung on this village green, which I think was here, and others were hung in Chelmsford. And apparently the term hangers-on came about because when your relative was being hanged in those days, they just slowly asphyxiated. They did not have an efficient way of hanging people in those days, and if you were lucky, your family would be allowed to come and pull down on your feet so that you would be asphyxiated quickly. You would not have to ride there on the rope for a long time, just gradually losing your consciousness and dying, which is horrible. Yeah, there's also a quote here from Shakespeare, "The Manningtree ox with a pudding in its belly," from Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1. So, yeah. But today, thinking about the witch hunt, I wonder if it was actually in this place where we're standing. There's a sort of square on the ground. Maybe it's impossible to know exactly where the gibbets were, but it's very sad, but it's good to learn these things. It's good to remember. To see the village green, which is also one of the points on the official trail, you need to go up South Street, and you can almost see the village green from here. And the video will show that. Well friends, this is the village green, I think, at the top of South Street. Now I may be wrong, but I think it was actually here that the women were hanged. That plaque down on the street, I think, has just been placed there to be a central point. I think this is the place where the women were hanged. And apparently, the history professor who assisted in making this walk said that about 100 people were involved in convicting someone of witchcraft. That someone had to make an accusation, people had to come and give evidence. The person who was accused of witchcraft would be subjected to different tests that people had to volunteer to help with. Like they were pricked with stakes and ducked and things, and watched. They were led around without being allowed sleep, so basically torture by sleep deprivation to make them confess to things. So yes, I think possibly the women were hanged here on this green area. I may not be right, but they said it was the village green, and this does look like a green area, so maybe it was here, but still, it was in this area. So friends, this is one of the sites on the Witchfinder's Trail. I'm sorry, it's just a brick wall. This church of St. Michael and All Angels, the stepfather of the Witchfinder General, Matthew Hopkins. Sorry, I'm just pausing for the cars. He preached at this church. He was the minister at this church. But this buttress is all that's left. So, yeah. Oh, God bless. Goodness me. Today is really feeling like autumn. Look at these leaves. Here is just a wonderful, just wooden bench of this owl. I guess it's the owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. I suppose. That's what it's making me think of. And at the other side, we have another lovely owl. Oh, amazing. Okay. Beside this bench, there's another information sheet about the Witch Heritage Trail. Manningtree, Elizabeth Clark. Right. Hello friends, this is Kate from the future. I did not want to speak about the first accused witch, Elizabeth Clark, in the street there in Mistley. It was so noisy and it was in the street and stuff. I read a little bit about her, and here's what I found out. She was 80 years of age when she was first accused by Matthew Hopkins. She was the first person in Mistley to be accused by Matthew Hopkins. Apparently a lynch mob of people brought her to the local laird aristocrat, and he decided that she should be tried for witchcraft. She was 80 years of age. She was very poor. She had one leg, and it seems that she was deprived of sleep for a number of days and walked around, and Matthew Hopkins and his associate John Stern said that they had seen various familiars with her. After 3 days of this torture, and I presume other tortures, she confessed she was a witch, and she also implicated about 35 other women in the Essex area of witchcraft and said that they had involved her. She went on to be tried at Chelmsford Assizes for witchcraft and then also eventually hanged in Chelmsford. It reminds me of how in very dictatorships, people are tortured until they implicate other people they know. Until you give the name of someone else, they won't stop torturing you. It's just very sad. Goodness. Anyway, that was the story of Elizabeth Clark, whose name was on that sign in the street, and now we'll move on with the trail. So this brick wall here, over this pond, is I think called the Hopping Bridge. It's 18th century, so it wouldn't have been here at the time of the Witchfinder General. But apparently, if I go over to the pond, it's included in the Witchfinder's route because they would swim witches. They would duck them in water to see if they were innocent or guilty. And also water was supposed to have supernatural qualities and purifying qualities which would sort of have connections to God and the divine. So a lot to think about and learn. So I am here on the witch hunting trail in Mistley finally. These are the Mistley Towers. If I turn around, there is a story about the Mistley Towers, but it's not related to the witch hunters. They were a later event, and I think I might talk about them in another video, but they are very beautiful. Okay friends, I think I want to go to the Church View Cafe for some lunch. So I'll turn the camera. There are the Mistley Towers, and here is the road. If I turn around, I'm hoping this is the way to the Church View Cafe because it looks really nice, but we'll see. I might be wrong, might be wrong. Yes friends, by coming up that road I have come to the Church View Cafe, and I'll turn round. There's the church, and it is a view of the church indeed. So now I'll go and get some lunch and I'll see what I get. There's some really cute little homemade gifts here. It's a bit 70s looking. Very nice. Oh. To the world you're my nana, to me you are the world. Oh, lovely. This is my lunch at the Church View Cafe in Mistley. And if I tip up, I do indeed have a view of the church. And it looks delicious, and the china looks really lovely. A bit 70s, which is great. Okay, lunchtime. Okay friends, well there's the church where the cafe is behind me. There's the sign to Mistley, and there's the Mistley Towers. And here is Mistley High Street, and here's where we need to go for the turn-offs for the next bit of the Witchfinder's Trail. Well, this is the Mistley Swan Fountain, and again it's a later edition than the witch-finding walk, but it is a famous landmark in Mistley. And indeed it was derelict for a long time until the council rebuilt it or repaired it a number of years ago. So there we go, that's the Mistley Swan Fountain. So a local person here told me that the Witchfinder General Matthew Hopkins did stay in the Mistley Thorn building. But when I looked at the Essex Council website, they didn't mention that, I don't think. Let me go around the side. There's a plaque on the side of this building about Matthew Hopkins, but I'll have to look up further to see if he did stay here. But I guess he could have done if he was looking for witches in this neighbourhood. Hello friends, well here is the big sort of maltings building in Mistley. The Mistley Thorn is behind me. There's the river, and here is a sign to the public footpath. And I'm pretty sure that it's this public footpath that takes us onto the next bit of the Witchfinder's Trail. So it looks like you shouldn't go in there, but I'm gonna try and we'll just see. Okay friends, well I walked straight down past the factory buildings just as I thought like I should not do, but actually I was right, that's the way you should come. And it says factory premises, please keep dogs on a lead, but there's an arrow there that says the Essex Way, and that is the footpath that we are to follow to go to the next point in the trail. So, okay, it all looks kind of forbidden, but however, there's a step down here. Caution, trip hazard. Okay, I'll jump down and see if I can open it. Okay. Okay, it just opens. Yep, you can get in. And then we're out of the factory. Yeah, we're then out of the factory and into the forest. There's a really, really pretty little stream here. So peaceful. And that's going all the way along here. So I'll keep walking. Okay, that was just a few steps, and here we have a lot of little badges that say public footpath, the Essex Way. So this is the right way, and I'll just pan across, and there's a staircase in the distance going up the way, which may not be so clear, but that's I think where we're to go to the next point of the trail. Okay, great. It's such a beautiful day. The next point in the trail is the Gamekeeper's Pond, Mistley Pond. So I'm going to make my way up these stairs, and apparently we should come out in a field. Okay, now there's a tunnel. Wow, I wonder if there's an echo. Echo! Echo! Matthew Hopkins, Witchfinder General. Is your ghost here? Do you walk around this area? If you're here, I really hope you regret what you did. Okay, let's go on to the pond. And if you have children with you, I'm enjoying doing the echo myself, but children will love doing the echo here. Okay. Oh yes, look. That's the way out, and there are cows there. Cool. Okay. So I think from the map you are to sort of make your way across to the second T-junction across the field, and that will take you to the pond. But we'll see. Yeah. Ooh, these cows are... Wow, they want to get out. Heavens. Good grief. I didn't expect that. I'm going to have a closer look. I have to say, friends, this is a little bit eerie. I don't know why the cows are all coming towards the gate. Maybe they feel like this is their field and the people should not be following the Essex Way path and they don't like it. I mean, maybe they know that they're a bit intimidating. I did not expect this. Okay, there's the Essex Way rosette. Hello! Hello! You lovely cow, hello, you're very pretty. You're very pretty. I wonder if you mind me going past. I'm doing the Witchfinder's walk. And I think it's important to remember all this kind of stuff. I did not expect to see you here. Look, there's all kinds of cows over there. Okay, I'm going to try and get past the cows. I did not expect this. Okay, right. At least they're not bulls. Okay, right. Okay. Okay, I will get past. My dear, can I get past? I'm so sorry. I'm disturbing you. I will try and go down the side of the stairs. Excuse me, darling. Sorry. Sorry. I'm very obliged to you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, darling. I'll get out your way. Okay, lovely cows. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, friends, here is the field. I must say I'm not terribly clear where I'm going exactly. I see a green path up there. There's a sort of green stripe, so I will try and go up that path, but it's not all that clear. Yeah, I'll try and go up this way. Okay. Sorry, ladies. Sorry to disturb you. I'm just trying to learn more about Matthew Hopkins. I didn't mean to disturb you. Okay, right. I'll try and make my way up this green strip and hope that's the path. It's not all that clear. Okay. I hope the camera is pointing out that there seems to be a bit of a pathway that's kind of been mowed, whereas the other bits are more rough like field. If I turn around, there's the chimney from the maltings and all my friends, the cows. And yeah, just to do a 360-degree turn around and keep going on this green path. Well, friends, here's the end of that field, and we have a little stile and then another stile beyond it. And then if I turn round back the way, you can't see the cows anymore, but you can still see the chimney and a bit of the maltings buildings. So I will now go through the stile and see where I think I might be headed. So here is another sign saying the Essex Way, public footpath, so I suspect I have to go on a bit further here towards to get to the gamekeeper's pond, which is the next bit of the trail. It's a simply beautiful day. I mean, this field is beautiful. I think we're near Constable country here, and I'm not surprised. It's just stunning. Okay. Okay, friends, now I've walked across that second field, and I have a feeling, I think from what I see of the map, I think I have to go down. If this is the way as you come across the field, you get to the end of the field, you turn to your left, I think, and there's an opening there, and I have a feeling that that is the way to the pond from the map. I'll just try it. Okay, friends, now I've come back across This field, that's where I was just over there in the middle of the screen, comes straight down the way, and there's another stile, and I think there's a little map here. Okay, that looks like this looks like that could be the gamekeeper's pond. Okay, so okay, please keep to the public footpath. I think a lot of this land is actually private, but there is a footpath that we're allowed to go down. So it's like, don't go sort of wandering off anywhere off the path. So fair enough. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna head up the way and see if this takes me to the pond. Yes, by bearing around on that path, there's not a huge amount of places you can go. There is the gamekeeper's pond, so I'm really relieved to be here. So here is Mistley Pond, or Gamekeeper's Pond, and it is said to be haunted by the ghost of the Witchfinder General Matthew Hopkins, who is wearing full sort of attire of the, I think it's the 17th century. That's shameful. Well, he's dressed like a Puritan, and he haunts this body of water. And apparently water is considered to be a sort of portal to the divine, to God. And for this reason, it may be that some of the women who were accused of being witches, and men as well, would have been swum in this pond. Witch swimming meant that the person was tied crossways from their toes to their elbows, apparently, and then they had a pole kind of attached to them. I think it was called ducking witches in Scotland, and I may be wrong there, and I don't mean to be disrespectful if I am wrong, but this person whom you were accusing of witchcraft would be dropped into the water, and if they sank, this meant that the water had accepted them and they were pure because they were going back to God. But if they floated, then they were in league with the devil and they were guilty of witchcraft. I think that is correct. But I mean, it just beggars belief. I mean, presumably anyone who could swim is guilty of witchcraft. There's a professor, now I need to get her name correct, I will say that at the beginning of the video, and she's added to the information on the tendering website, and apparently this was really a form of torture. She says it's similar to sort of waterboarding, because the person was not really left to sink or swim. You still had control of them. The witchfinders had a control over the rope or pole they were attached to and could keep ducking them and terrifying them. I mean, it's just torture. It's a beautiful body of water and it does look slightly eerie, but if there were any accused witches swum in this pond, then I pray that they're at peace and I pray for their souls. Walked a bit further around the Gamekeeper's Pond, so here's another view of it. I mean, when I said I pray for the souls of the people who were accused of witchcraft, perhaps I should be praying for the souls of Matthew Hopkins and John Stern, who I think was the name of his associate, and the cruelty that they practiced. The people who were accused of witchcraft were innocent and they were wronged, and I'm sure they were with God. You just feel very, very sorry that they were submitted to such terrorization. And it's important to remember these things. It's important. I'm going to walk all the way around the pond. It is a nice walk, although it's quite hard to find this place. I would also say, if you come on the Witchfinder's Walk, that this pond is evidently private property and it's fenced around as such. I thought it was maybe fenced around so that people wouldn't go and get into danger by swimming and maybe coming into difficulties, but it's actually obviously owned by someone. It's not a public place, but you can see a lot of it and it's very beautiful and it's well worth coming and having a look. Hello friends, well I'm just gonna, this is the pond from the other side. I'm just looking around as far as I possibly can. It's a bit more gloomy and a bit more mysterious around here. I would say that if you came to this pond, you know, on a moonlit night, which is apparently when the ghost of Hopkins appears, Matthew Hopkins, then I would bring a very strong flashlight and also wear hiking boots. I've only got on sort of sneakers and it's okay, but I mean, I have to say the path is a bit dangerous, but if you were really determined to try and see the ghost on a moonlit night, just be very prepared, be careful. Yeah, the path around the pond is kind of like this. It's quite narrow and overgrown. and it's got all the spooks. It's got all the spooky qualities you'd want on a sort of October, well, spooky season walk. And this looks very Jurassic here. That crooked branch and then the weeping willow in the distance, it all again looks rather eerie and magical. It's a shame there's the fence, but I suppose it does keep people safer. So now I'm going to retrace my steps and head out of the pond. It's a wonderful walk. Okay, goodbye Mistley Pond for now. I'm sure I'll come back one day. And now I'm making my way back this way, which is properly witchy looking. Well, I'm now headed to the next point of the trail, which is Old Knobley, the oak tree, and I have a feeling that what I should do is just try and make my way kind of up the undergrowth, upwards. There's no sign or anything. I mean, here are the tree trunks where I came to find the gamekeeper's pond and look round, but I think Old Knobley is kind of further up in the forest, in the undergrowth rather, and that's what I'm going to do to try and find Old Knobley. But it's very imprecise, and I think I'm going to have an explore in the forest. I have to say, I think the forest is the place that is most got the feeling of the eeriness of the Witchfinder's trail. Although the street parts are interesting, it's the forest that's really magical. Okay, on to Old Knobley. Okay, after literally sort of a couple of minutes walk, I've come up to this kind of crossroads. There's a lovely dog. I must say, forests are strange places. You can get lost here so fast. But I'm going to try and keep going up the way to find Old Knobley. Well, here's one amazing old tree, but I don't know if this is actually Old Knobley. Maybe it is. There's no sign to say. Basically, Old Knobley, in addition to being an 800-year-old oak tree, is mentioned in the Witchfinder's Walk because it was such a landmark. Everyone there would have known about it, even in that time. And sometimes big trees were a place of refuge where people who were being persecuted would go, and they would hide in them or maybe rest under them. But also, sadly, it's a part of the Witchfinder's Walk because witches were sometimes hanged from big trees. So this could be Old Knobley. And if it's not, then it's still a very beautiful tree. And I'll keep looking down this way and see if there is if Old Knobley is yet to be seen. There's always a moment for some ferns. It just looks really gorgeous and slightly eerie. I don't think that tree was Old Knobley, but it did say I had arrived, but it just doesn't look like the pictures. Okay, and there's some ivy here, some holly rather, so I'll just duck that. Again, this is nothing to do with the exact directions of the walk, but it is just so witchy and so amazing. It's an amazing place to walk around. I can see how people here could have been maybe more susceptible to stories about the supernatural because it's just so slightly desolate and wild. Now here, the sun's peeping through. It's just really beautiful. Now here's part of a sort of old fallen tree that's become like a sort of shelter. It looks like people have, like the tree has fallen and then people have put up other logs and things to prop it up. But it's quite sort of magical looking. Okay. It's hard to get a proper view of it, but that wood there, it looks amazing. Okay. Here's a somewhat better view of that tree with the cavity in it. Maybe this is Old Knobley. I mean, it looks very witchy, doesn't it? What an amazing day. I was getting quite irritated there, but now I'm seeing so many beautiful things, I'm not really bothered anymore. Now this branch of the tree looks a bit like the Loch Ness Monster. It's got all these kind of humps and bumps. Maybe this is Old Knobley. I don't know. I really wish there was just some sort of signage. I sound such a tourist saying that, but okay, onwards. Hello friends, well I think I'm finally on my way to getting to Old Knobley. I must say it's quite confusing, but I bumped into two ladies who were from here and they pointed me in the right direction. Apparently there is a fence around Old Knobley, so you do know which one it is. So if I go up this little hill, let me turn around. This little hill with all the roots on it, we should be on our way to Old Knobley. And again, it looks very, very witchy. There are acorns everywhere, and ooh, it's quite stunning. Oh wow, yes, that is Old Knobley. My goodness, yes. Okay, I'm gonna go up. My goodness, yes, it's 800 years old. 800 years old, and apparently it's been struck by lightning, so all these old burrs are a bit sort of Lord of the Rings looking. Well, as I said when I previously came to the first tree that we looked at, apparently Old Knobley is included in the Witch Hunters Walk because it would have been a landmark even at that time of the witch hunting, because it was such a big tree, 800 years old, and people who were being persecuted would sometimes flee to a large tree like this, either to hide maybe in its branches or to sleep or maybe to meet up with someone who might help them. It's also included because unfortunately witches, people who were accused of being witches rather, were hung from trees, and it was very, very brutal. So yes, it's apparently this fence around Old Knobley is pretty recent, though you can still get in. I mean, there's a gap here, but they've fenced it around. So my goodness, I'm going to stand back and get a picture. Yes, I've really had to go quite far back to take in the whole tree. So amazing to think it's been here all that time and seen many things. So I've got some acorns from Old Knobley, just as a souvenir. Okay. Well, Old Knobley is the second last point of the Witchfinder's Walk, and I will now head off to the footpath. Amazing looking fungi up here. What a tropical colour. Some more. If I pan down this old tree, there's another bit of fungi there. Okay, cool. Well, Old Knobley was amazing. And now here's where the Essex County map is a bit confusing. They say take the path just past Old Knobley and you'll find the footpath to go back to Manningtree. That, strictly speaking, is the correct way to go, because that takes you past the site of where Matthew Hopkins was buried and where the church was, though there's nothing left of it now. And then if I turn around the camera, there's this way here, there's this way there, and then there's this place here. So I think I'm going to have a little explore around the woods now and just enjoy it and hopefully find my way back to that footpath so I can complete the trail. Okay friends, well, I've been told to kind of retrace my steps, go down the hill again, go back out across the field, but then to take a different way across the field and to cross a stream. So I'm going to try that because I really would like to go the precise way of the Witchfinder's Trail, and hopefully it will work. I know I just keep stopping and looking at the trees, but they're just so amazing. It's so magical. Wow. Okay, goodbye magical woods for now. You're amazing. It's been a beautiful afternoon here, and I hopefully am now going to find my way to Manningtree on the footpath, the correct way. Okay. Right, so I think here now we're back at the stile we were at before we came to the pond, and I'm going to try and go across this field as I was advised to by a gentleman who lives locally, and I'm hoping this will be the right way back to Manningtree. So here's the edge of that field, here's where we came from, turn around here, I'm hoping that this is the right way, this is the footpath way. Okay, right, have a look. Okay, now we're in the field beyond, and there's an open gate, and I see a bridge with a little stream, which I was told you go over that bridge and turn to your right, and that is the footpath on the way back to Manningtree. That's the final part of the Witchfinder's trail. Okay. Here's the bridge. It's just so idyllic. Okay. And there's, I think that's the kennels. And this says footpath, I think. And then beyond it says private. I must say the private bit looks lovely as well. However, we will stick to the footpath. Okay. And here is the bridge. The Mistley chimney. And I do feel that I am on the right way, but gosh, it is not clear. So there's another sign saying footpath, and then a green sort of strip through the fields, and I will go through that and see where we are. Another style, go through here. There's some rather witchy red berries there. Okay. Okay, this looks a bit scrubbier, this land. Apparently the church where Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder General, was buried, it was on this path. I have no idea where it was, and apparently it was demolished, possibly because they didn't like, I don't know, maybe they didn't like having Matthew Hopkins' body there. It was demolished and there's nothing to see, but somewhere in this landscape Matthew Hopkins is buried. So there you go. Let's just go up to the top of this hill and see what I can see. What a beautiful view. Okay, there's Mistley over there. And that body of water there looks so pretty and inviting, and it's got some ducks on it. But I think it's private and you can't go there. And there's the kennel buildings. Okay, so let's go up here. Despite the fact Matthew Hopkins was so horrible, I wish there was some sort of indication where the old church was. It would be interesting. I mean, of course, it's not the fault of the church that he was a horrible witchfinder and he's buried there. Just as they've mentioned it, it would be nice to see where it was. Maybe there's a marker of some kind. Okay. Hello friends, well now it looks as if we're coming into another area of forest. And again, it's a bit spooky. We're kind of leaving the sun behind us and we're going back into the sort of slightly darker areas. And yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, there's the big witchy tree. And here is a sort of fork in the road. That way up there is wrong. And I don't know, I will try now this way, which seems closer, but it may actually be down this way. Okay, that looks like a definite footpath over there, so I'm going to go down that way and see if that's the footpath. And that seems to be going more along with the road. Boy, it's confusing. Wow. Well friends, I got really lost, but as a plus, I have found some lovely conkers. So I'll take those home. And I'm hoping that this way down here is the right way. Okay, I'm having a witchy difficult time finding this footpath. Okay. That house up there in the distance, although there's a telegraph pole near it, it looks like a witch could live there. Yeah, it looks very mysterious in the silhouette. Okay. So now I'm going over another little bridge here. And here we have a footpath, and I think this corresponds more to the sort of Google Maps way back to Manningtree. So here's a lovely tree and a field, Who knows, maybe this is where the church that Matthew Hopkins is buried was in. Okay, I'll go up here and I will try and find my way back to Manningtree. Yeah, make my way up this path and see what happens. It's very eerie and sort of beautiful. And there's the way back. It's a feast for the eyes everywhere. Okay. I think if this is the correct way, what the guide says is that this was a path that the people who were accused of witchcraft would have used. The ones that were killed in Manningtree, or were executed in Manningtree, they would have come along this path because it was a pathway even then in the 17th century. So this was how they would have made their way about, by going on this path. So when you walk on these footpaths, you're walking on the path of those people who were accused of witchcraft. You're walking on their daily life path. Okay. So here's the kennels up ahead. Here's that pond which I really wanted to go near but which was private property before. I'm really hoping that this is the footpath because I am lost otherwise. But there's another stile up there, so hopefully this is the correct way. Okay, hallelujah, it is the public footpath. Clearly I think this is the way back towards Manningtree. It was just a bit misleading. Okay, I'll keep going. This kennel building, it's got beautiful lush grass. Look at the contrast of the grass in the field and then their grass. Wow. Oh well, it's a lovely building. Okay. So here we come up to the end of the driveway. The footpath is on the left hand side and the driveway up to the kennel buildings is on my right. So I don't know where the footpath goes after this. I'm really hoping we're on the right path because I want to get back to Manningtree now. Have a cup of tea, I think. It's been fabulous, but I'm getting quite tired now. So I've just come off that road and we're into another really lovely little footpath. It's very shaded here and it's really charming and, dare I say it, quite witchy. And according to Google Maps we are getting close to Manningtree, so I think this must be the right way. Okay, hallelujah. So there the forest path ends and oh, that's pretty with those leaves. Here we are on a concrete path, which I'm assuming is the way to Manningtree. Okay. Okay, it's not a concrete path, it's a kind of slightly stony path, but still, it is a sort of broader path nonetheless. Okay, so here, the public footpath that we've just been on, it's ended. That was, I think, called the Green Lane. And now, yes, it's the Green Lane. Now I'm trying to find just Manningtree in general. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Okay. Okay, friends, I think we've to go down Trinity Road, which is down here. And this, in 9 minutes time, we should be in Manningtree, which is back to the start of the trail. Okay, I'll keep going. Here's a slightly witchy sign towards the end of the trail. Owl's Wood. Okay, keep going. Okay. Here's a rather beautiful cemetery in the final bit. Very pretty houses around here. It's a very nice walk. I think we're now back in Manningtree. It says South Street and I believe that is part of the trail. Look at this person. This is incredible. They've got plants growing out of all these walking boots. That is so amazing looking. It's very kind of Witchfindery, witchy. Okay, interesting. Again, it's just so full of character. That lovely lamppost here and then that beautiful high chimney. It's just really, I mean, it's gorgeous. So there's the road that we were coming down, friends. And then down at the bottom of this road is Manningtree. We're back in Manningtree. You may be glad to know that there is a public toilet kind of right here on your left hand side and behind this fountain here, which looks nice. I'm just gonna go up. slightly murky water, but oh, they've got lovely goldfish. Okay. Hope the fish don't mind all this greeny water. Yeah. There we are. There's a little fish right here. If you can see it. There we go, little fishy. Okay, I think I'm going to try and find a cup of tea. So we turn a corner and end up right back at the start of the trail in the Old White Hart pub, building where Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder, was reputed to have stayed at some point. At least he would have walked past here and seen this building. So that's the trail, and I'm now going to get a cup of tea, as I just said. It's too hot for tea. Got some soda instead. I'm in Manningtree Arts Centre. Lovely. Hello again, friends. This really is the end of the video. As you saw, it was so hot I couldn't have a cup of tea at the end. I had to have some soda. It was a beautiful day. It was amazing. And I really recommend the Witchfinder's Trail. I did buy some things on my travels in the Manningtree Arts Centre. I bought this book called The Manningtree Witches, which I believe is a fictional drama account of the time. And I will read this, and at some point during spooky season I'll tell you what I thought of it. But I'm really glad that I got this. It was a little bit of money off because it's damaged, although I can't see any damage. And then in the Church View Cafe, I got these little pumpkins for my kind of autumn display. I thought they were really kind of 70s looking, which is my era of childhood, and very cute. So I bought those, and that was really lovely. Finally, I really recommend the Witchfinder's Trail. It's a very informative and very beautiful walk. And I'm sorry about the noise on the road, but that is what it was like. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.